Hey everybody, it's outside here. Recording live at like 3 a.m. in the morning because it's time constraints and all that. And you may notice that I'm currently within a completely different place than I am. Currently overseas, and unfortunately, I will be busy with something during the live DDR BPL match that will be happening today at 9 p.m. Japan time. So yeah, this is basically just the usual video where I would cancel this, where I would announce the cancellation of the stream, and I would just bring you the play-by-play so that you can have some expectations of what could possibly happen here. Yeah, I will, like I said, I'll be busy, so I will be just so so this video is just to preface everything. You'll definitely be seeing this before the match starts. Maybe not many people will see this by then, but it's just so I feel like, just so my OCD won't like grab me, and this won't be like a missing, like just like a random missing week or something. Anyways, we can probably go into the stream layout here so we can talk about the matches that'll be happening today. So yeah, this is gonna be the final. I would say that this is the final full BPL, the final full BPL day for like the first stage and such. So this is gonna be round 11 and round 12, and after this match, it's gonna be going to the quarterfinal matches. None of the teams will be eliminated for this. None of the teams will be eliminated in the group stages, but your placing in the group stage will determine your seeding for the quarterfinals and such. So the weakest, so if you have the weakest records for your like trads in League L, you're gonna face the best team in Group R in League R. So and vice versa. So that was the incentive pretty much for performing really well in the group stage despite no eliminations. And yes, this is gonna be the final two matches to determine the final placings before we go to quarterfinals. Round 11 will be Group L, League L's Game Panic versus Silcat. Game Panic had an amazing, unexpected victory against Title Station Trads in their previous match, and Silcat really Silcats had their match against Gigo. Its main event was a brother to brother match between Kaname from Silcat and Hibiki from Gigo, and it ended up with, I was thinking like Gigo was gonna be pretty dominant, but no, Silcat came out on top on the match, using a lot of like their weaknesses to their advantage, and yes, there's potential for Silcat to win claim claim first place in their league, which will get them a big advantage as they'll face the lowest ranked team of League R, which definitely is Supernova Tohoku, who unfortunately had three losses in their all losses in their group matches. And Game Panic has a chance to definitely and the Game Panic has a chance to take first place too, I believe. So yes, this is going to be a very very important match, just so that they can have a potentially easier match. But who knows? We could see. Who knows what's going to happen in that match? But regardless, we're going to see who's coming up for this match. The first match is going to be 12 to 14 White and Tricky. So these White refers to songs from DDR Ace to no DDR 2013 to DDR Ace. So that's an that's actually like I would say that's a decent amount of songs there, but like not in the realm of too weird yet. But then they'll be in the tricky category. So these are like songs which have a lot of like weird BPM changes, weird like a lot of those BPM changes. Just tricky really means tricky. So the first match is gonna be the ace of Game Panic Hoshikechi versus Ginyasu, draft number 2 of Cellcat. So Ginyasu has been put into these matches a lot. He went to the first matches a lot just because he's a super reliable timer, I would say. I would uh, him being put on the first match definitely makes sense, but Hoshikechi for the first match, that's really really interesting. I guess they're just trying to level out his costs because every player has costs here, and ideally I guess they saw that hey, we could probably use up the cost for our ace here. I would say that Hoshikechi is pretty good at timing low levels, but not to the level of Ginyasu, who is focused on like this level range. I could see it going either way, but I personally feel like Ginyasu has the advantage here. Next will be 15 to 17 gold standard. Yoshiya versus Abetaku, both the third drafters. These are like this is an interesting category to see both of these players because they're not really known for like being those high level like song players. So I think we're gonna see more like level 15s, the level 15s, and the gold era, which is DDR Ace 20 to Ace 20 to A3. I would say that there's a lot of like just pretty normal charts around this level range. So I think, well, maybe I could see like one of them employing a strategy to mess the other player up by putting up like a weird 17 or something. But these two players are timers and they are probably more comfortable with easy 15 than easy 16. So maybe it could just be like a one-on-one timing battle as expected from these two players. Abetaku and Yoshi, yeah. Abetaku has had a pretty impressive record relatively to Yoshi, yeah, as Abetaku has taken off one match from um, a pretty like sought after player in this BPL, which is Anlin from Gigo. That's his win was actually pretty instrumental to Silkat's victory against Gigo. So I would say I feel Abetaku has kind of a better shot here. But of course, that'll have to wait till the match. I don't think Yoshi is gonna make it easy for him. And here we go, the final match, the tag match, 13 to 17 classic Trinky. So we're gonna see Hoshikechi and Jeez versus Kaname and Ginyasu. Kaname has been on an absolute tear this BPL. I would say he has performed as expected and is a big reason why Silkat has had the success that they had. G's had his coming up party in the battle against Treads, where he basically was the driving force to his team winning the match against Treads. Hoshikechi, yeah, it's a bit weird to see your ace player with the remaining to be the one with the remaining cost, but sometimes that's just how like everything rolls pretty much. And in the 13-17 Classic Tricky, these two are veteran players, I would say, Hoshikechi and G. So I could see them putting out some really, really like weird songs to try and trip Kaname and Ginyasu up. But like I could argue the same for like both Kaname and Ginyasu. Kaname would say that he's like the third or fourth best player in Japan, so he has pretty much advantage on so many things. And Ginyasu has just been a veteran for a very long time. I think Jiz and Hoshikechi could capitalize on that because Ginyasu is very very focused on easier songs, and maybe they could potentially like pick a harder song just to push Ginyasu to fourth, in which Kaname will have to basically win against them. So yeah, I could see their strategies here. I could see Game Panic getting an advantage within this match, but in the end, I would say the true man to fear is Kaname, the ace, who couldn't do anything. So I would say that they have their work cut out for them, but if they can choke out the first place from Kaname, I think Game Panic has a very, very solid strategy here. But that's not. But Kaname and Ginyasu could also pick just something really easy. So both of them could play like to their advantages. Because Kaname is pretty good with easy songs too. Well, but yes, I do feel like Silkhat could potentially close out the lossless season, the lossless group stage here. But I think Game Panic's definitely not gonna make this easy for them, especially because their costs have been pretty meted out pretty well. So now I would say it's Silk Cats. I would say that Game Panic could potentially even like steal first place, or maybe just. But yeah, they didn't gain that much points against Gigo in their first match. So I guess we will really see. I have my money's on Silk Cat though. Love that team. All right, so this is the League L match. We're gonna go to round 12, which is the League B match. This is gonna be which is gonna be between one of the favorite teams, round one against Apina Braves, a surprising underdog, a more underdog team that surprisingly has had a really good record. This is another like pretty highly sought after matchup just because of the history between these two teams. I would say Apina in round one are the first ever, like I would say, BPL, the first season BPL final matches for 2DX. So I guess that's seen as if for the BPL fans that might be seen as a pretty iconic matchup. But this is a different game. It's a different playing field. But the main tail of the tape is pretty much how Apina Brains currently has a 2-0-0 win draw loss record. They have won all of their matches. Not in a convincing fashion, I would say. They had a pretty close one against Leisureland, but in the end, their strategizing paid off, and the consistent performances of their players, Paul, Noti, and Mamoru, have really carried them. Meanwhile, round one, pretty overpowered team, I would say. Oshima, Zero, and Anri. So they had a very close and tough match against Leisureland, which they ended up losing by one single point, as Nayu, the might of Nayu was way too much for them, and the mistake made by Zero pretty much cost them that victory. Not in the night. Apina is pretty much confirmed to be in the semis, but could be confirmed in the court to be a high seeded team. But obviously they would like to close it out with so they can enter the the postseason with high momentum, and round one obviously just wants to claim their spot here. We're gonna see the matches now. So the first match is gonna be 12-14 as usual. It's gonna be white standard, so that's gonna be 2013 to A standard songs, which actually there's a lot. This era of DDR, the white era of DDR, has a lot of just like pretty normal charts where it's not really that uh, weird, I would say, because this is the time where they weren't really experimenting too much with the game. They were playing it very safe. So this is gonna be Zero from round one versus Poe from Apina Braves. Poe has had an impressive BPL run so far. Pretty outstanding for female players everywhere so far, with her like really consistent performances on low level songs, and just having people's numbers in songs that they never really played before, like the match between Apina and Tohoku. Apina's victory being confirmed with the pick of Chewin Bunny, where Paul was pretty proficient at even where Paul was pretty proficient at, even though the second drafter Noti was the one who closed out the match basically with his PFC. Zero, of course, is extremely notable for being good at like from 12s to even 17s. This guy can do everything. So this is gonna be a very rough match for Poe. But I would say it's not completely impossible for Poe to close out the match and to get one off of Zero. But I don't think she'll be able to take two matches off of Zero unless something really amazing happens. The next match is going to be the second match. So 15 to 17 Gold Tricky. It's going to be between Henri and Noti. I would say that this is a pretty Apina advantage match. Noti has been doing some ridiculous things. Henri has done some ridiculous things on DP, but seeing his performance against On and Yuki in the previous matches, I would say that hasn't really shown his chops in these matches where you just have to fight. And fighting against Naughty, who is a ridiculous player. I was actually very surprised that because Apina actually had to select their second player last because their picks kept getting taken off, which was Ringo, who went to Leisureland, Thor, who went to Trads, and Naughty was not selected at all. So, and then they got Naughty, and then Naughty appeared here, and then Naughty appeared last, which was surprising to me because he's such a high tier player. So I think this is gonna be a bit to Unre's disadvantage. I could even see Naughty taking both songs if he really selects well. But yes, I would say Henri's doesn't. Henri, it's not that Henri has no chance, but it's just not a very high chance seeing his past performances. I hope he can prove people wrong though with this match. So yes, this is gonna be another potential exciting match to watch, and this is gonna be the final match. Oshima and Zero for round one, taking on Mamoru and Pole, level 13, 17 classic standard. Well, Oshima and Zero, if you see those two, you have to be scared. Long tenured players, insane accuracy, plays pretty much everything at that level range, being the because if you notice all the DDR videos on YouTube that get uploaded first, it's either some random people who upload those videos, or the good players are you usually see uploaded the content that they get released are Oshima and Zero. So yeah, entire their experience would be pretty their experience is pretty well documented, and this is gonna be potentially scary for the other team of Mamoru and Po. Speaking of which, though, Mamoru and Po, interesting to see Po in the last match. She did perform pretty well in the match against Tohoku, where she capitalized on how less experienced the other two players were, which were Rinbo and Yoshimizu from Tohoku. How they were quite less experienced in easier songs. So Paul really took advantage of that because the range goes from 13 to 17. There's actually a lot of choices because their pool is classic standard, which is like ridiculously huge. Mamoru was definitely the big question mark of this Apina team because he's not really a notable player, but he was picked first draft, and as time went on, he definitely shows that he's worthy to be picked in the BPL, but we were just still shocked at how highly he was picked. Regardless of that though, he is a long time player too, and he definitely has as much experience with these songs as Oshima and Zero has. So, but I would imagine that because Po is in this last match, Apina's pick will probably be for more of a lower level song pool. So Oshima and Zero will probably aim to target target Po by picking very difficult level 7 teams, and they could target Mamoru to an extent because Mamoru wasn't really known for his ability to MA. So I would say that round one would have the advantage in this third matchup, but again, it really depends on what Apina picks and if Zero and Oshima make any mistakes because these players obviously aren't perfect, and I would say Oshima and Zero are still prone to making mistakes in the big stage. So we will see. We will see what happens in this final match. I'm an Apina fan, so my personal fingers are crossed. My fingers are crossed that Mamoru and Po will be able to close it out, and Apina will be enter the postseason with 3 victories, and round one will obviously want to take that back and go into a potential first seed with 2 victories and a loss. All right, so but yeah, I guess the last few things to note is that Maxwell Powers, Iconic Alley, and Gaho will continue to be the MCs, and our resident DJ will be Course K, and the dance actor, the freestyle person, the starter stream will be Zio, who I believe we've seen before. But yeah, we will probably conclude this. So yeah, this is the summary of both for this final week of group stage matches. You'll probably see this way before the matches begin. I will aim to upload it sometime around then. It's 3:30 a.m. I'm dealing with some on top of school. I will be dealing with some personal. I'm dealing with some personal stuff at the moment, so hopefully that passes and I can start getting into more of a rhythm with these BPL streams. And another video that I should still get done is definitely BPL season 3 2DX draft, because that's starting to be a month ago and I still haven't done a video covering it because I know that's gonna be somewhat demanded, especially with the interesting things that has happened recently. I will aim to get it out there before season 3 starts, but at the moment I'm dealing with some stuff with my personal life and juggling that with school too. So hopefully I can arrange that in time. But yes, I really really appreciate people who still come by to watch all these videos, even though they're not really not the streams itself and not really like insightful commentary, I would say. But yeah, again, I really really appreciate people who still come by and watch. And if you're watching up to this point, thank you very much, and I hope you continue to support the channel. So yeah, I'll probably conclude now. I should get to bed. There's some stuff I have to do in the morning. So yeah, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. See you around.